The daughter I nurtured with my own hands has become the long-lost true daughter of the minister's family. They reclaimed her, making solemn vows to treat her well. However, merely half a year after her return, she mysteriously vanished. Anxious and frantic, I arrived in the capital, only to coincidentally witness them hosting a grand wedding banquet. A staggering 128 bridal sedan chairs filled the street, all adorned with the dowry I had urged her to bring back in advance. I patted my chest, feeling a sense of relief. It turned out the girl was merely preoccupied with her marriage. Yet, as I drew closer, I was struck by the realization that the one marrying today was the false daughter. Meanwhile, her parents and brother were disdainfully referring to her as a worthless wretch. Our Jeaner is so beloved, unlike that lowly creature Zhou Su, who is utterly indistinguishable from her base merchant foster mother. Upon entering the Zhou family, how dare she speak of personal possessions? Who gave her the audacity? Selfish and greedy, she deserves to die. I was momentarily stunned, my anger surging as I swiftly approached. That very day, at the wedding banquet of the false daughter, I unveiled their treachery. What merchant foster mother? Even the current emperor would have to call me mother. 1. As I hastened day and night to reach the eastern capital, the Zhou family was in the midst of a wedding. A staggering 128 bridal sedan chairs lined the street from the entrance to the corner, leaving everyone in awe of the Zhou family's extravagant display for their daughter's marriage. However, I immediately recognized that this was the dowry prepared for Susu, whom the Zhou family had sought out, fearing she might be wronged. Even the outer crates had not been replaced. A sense of relief washed over me as I pondered that her silence in responding to my letters must be due to the busyness of her nuptials. Yet, upon catching sight of the young woman clad in bridal attire, I was taken aback to find that I did not recognize her at all. A pair of elegantly dressed middle-aged individuals stood beside her, holding her hand with deep reluctance. I surmised they must be Susu's biological parents and approached them politely to inquire. "Isn't the bride today the Zhou family's precious daughter, Susu?" The couple exchanged astonished glances and frowned, responding, "Susu?
Who is that?"
"Today is our daughter's wedding. Who are you to create a disturbance in the Zhou family?" It was the young woman who tugged at the Zhou matriarch's sleeve and sweetly exclaimed, "Mother, my sister's name is indeed Susu. Have you forgotten?" The matriarch's expression shifted from tenderness to disdain, her sharp eyes sizing me up. "Oh, so you are the wretched one who has come for her. It's no wonder our dear Jean has been tormented by jealousy and malice. Now you dare to ruin her wedding as well? Wretched one?" My countenance darkened, and without a moment's hesitation, I struck her sharply across the face. Watching her clutch her cheek in shock, I coldly directed my words to Hong Xiu behind me. "Seal the premises. Not even a dog is to be let out." Hong Xiu nodded respectfully in compliance. Soon, countless shadowy figures descended from above, surrounding the Zhou residence tightly amidst the screams of Zhou father and mother, as well as the guests. The guards of the Zhou family, who attempted to resist, were swiftly subdued. Hong Xiu, understanding my intent, held a knife to Zhou father's throat, smiling as she spoke. "Your remarks regarding Miss Susu have displeased our matriarch. If you wish to avoid suffering, you should obediently disclose Susu's whereabouts." A thin line of blood appeared on Zhou father's neck as he seethed with pain and anger, cursing vehemently. This damned calamity should never have been brought back. It was bad enough that she tormented Jean now she has disturbed the peace of the Zhou family on this day. Zhou Jean, tearfully, accused, "Since you are on my sister's side, how can you treat our father this way? I know my sister believes I have taken her place, and thus harbors resentment towards me, but the Zhou family is her kin. How can she act so recklessly and bring shame upon us?" I let out a cold laugh. When the Zhou family sent someone to seek her out, they insisted they were her true blood relatives, promising to cherish her and treat her like a precious jewel upon her return. Susu believed their words and nurtured hopes for her long-lost family. That is why I willingly returned her to the Zhou family. Yet now, it seemed they had not cherished the daughter they had found after so many years apart, instead continuing to shower affection upon a mere substitute. The Zhou matriarch, cradling Zhou Jean in her arms, glared at me with resentment. "Susu was never worthy of our family. If I had a choice, I would prefer Jean to be my true child." I found this utterly ludicrous and coldly retorted, "If that is the case, On what grounds do you claim the 128 bridal sedan chairs brought for Susu? 2. Witnessing my lack of intent to harm them, the guests, who had been merely spectators, suddenly appeared enlightened. It turned out that so much of the dowry was deceitfully taken from others by the Zhou family, explaining why they were met with hostility on such a joyous occasion. I had thought a mere sixth-rank official could not possibly possess such substantial wealth. It was more complicated than that. The Susu they spoke of was said to be the biological daughter the Zhou family had recovered not long ago, while this Zhou Jin was merely an adopted daughter.
What?
To use the dowry of a long-lost biological daughter to bolster the status of an adopted one? The Zhou family must have hearts of stone. Hearing the murmurs around them, Zhou father and mother's expressions shifted, discomfort evident on their faces, yet they stubbornly maintained. She brought the items back to the Zhou family, so they belong to us. That little wretch has been nothing but trouble for Jin. The dowry is rightfully hers. I was left laughing in disbelief, about to teach these two scoundrels a lesson when a sharp voice suddenly rang out from the entrance. Who are you to wreak havoc in the Zhou family? I recognized this voice as belonging to the person who had originally brought Susu home, and I gestured for the shadow guards at the entrance to allow him passage. The newcomer stumbled inside, his eyes nearly bursting with rage at the scene before him. Zhou Jin was the first to rush into his embrace, her voice choked with tears as she pleaded, "Brother, you've finally returned. These are all Sister-S people, please. I beg you, make them stop harming father and mother." She was prepared to vent her frustration and disrupt my wedding, but as long as she could appease her anger, Jin was willing to kneel and apologize to her. Zhou Chenghua hurriedly caught her, tenderly wiping her tears away. "Do not fear. With your brother here, you need not apologize to that wretch. Today, you only need to focus on your wedding. I shall handle matters concerning that contemptible one." I regarded the brother-sister duo with cold eyes, my patience wearing thin. Hong Xiu helped me don my gloves, then delivered a swift kick to Zhou Chenhua's knee. Being of the shadow guard, she held nothing back. Zhou Chenhua let out a cry, collapsing to his knees before me. I raised my hand and struck him fiercely across the face. "You promised me that upon bringing Susu back, you would treat her well. Yet it seems you have failed to do so." The gloves, specially embroidered, inflicted a stinging pain akin to needles upon contact. Zhou Chenghua clutched his bloodied face, grimacing in agony as he finally recognized who I was. "You!" A flicker of guilt flashed in his eyes, quickly replaced by fury as he bellowed. "She brought this upon herself. Since returning to the Zhou family, she has repeatedly harmed Jin and even exploited her goodwill to set up a scheme against her. Such malice renders her unworthy of being a Zhou." I could not help but let out a cold laugh, my gaze sweeping over the three before me. The disdain in their eyes clearly indicated they shared this sentiment. "Oh, how delightful. It appears your entire family is nothing but beasts. You, who are so destitute that you must seize the dowry of others, truly believe that Susu is of any value to you." They turned pale at my words, attempting to struggle but were swiftly subdued by Hong Xiu, only to be met with cries of despair. Zhou father and mother glared at me with hatred, gritting their teeth. "You are but a lowly merchant. Do you not believe we could bring ruin to your family with a mere word? Let me tell you, Jin is nothing like that little wretch. Not only does the general in the court acknowledge her as a sister and bestow upon her numerous gifts, but even the empress has taken a liking to her, commissioning the finest embroiderers to craft this bridal gown for her. They will all attend this wedding, and should you dare to humiliate us further, prepare to face utter annihilation." As if to validate their words, a commotion soon erupted outside. A tall figure strode in, voice deep and commanding. "What is the meaning of this? Who dares to disrupt my sister's wedding? Do you seek death?" 3. The Zhou family members' faces lit up with hope, regardless of whether they were kneeling or standing. All cried out in unison, "General Lin, save us. This person has barged into our Zhou family to ruin Jin's wedding. You are her most devoted supporter and even sent her congratulatory gifts for her marriage. We implore you to assist her once more." The other guests whispered among themselves, lowering their heads. It was said that the illustrious general had achieved great military success, but seldom mingled with others. Yet this time, he had returned from the battlefield specifically to celebrate Zhou Jin's marriage, indicating a profound connection to the Zhou family. I have also come to understand that the elderly matriarch's visit to the Zhou family was driven by a desire to avenge her beloved true daughter, whom she raised. However, with the general's arrival, it seems that even if the Zhou family is at fault, it may ultimately prove inconsequential. Alas, the general will undoubtedly shield the Zhou family for the sake of Zhou Jin, leaving the old lady in a perilous predicament. As I listened to their whispered discussions, the Zhou family members exhibited a blatant sense of triumph. Zhou Jin eagerly approached, feigning a modest shyness. "General, you have been so kind to me in the past, yet I have never had the pleasure of meeting you until now. How fortunate that you have arrived, for otherwise, it seems my engagement would have faltered. However, I beseech you to show mercy. Although my sister's jealousy has instigated this situation, I do not wish to bring sorrow to my parents or my brother." To everyone's astonishment, General Lin regarded her for a moment, then furrowed his brows and impatiently retorted, "Who the hell are you? Where is my little sister?" The crowd stood in stunned silence, while the expressions on the faces of the Zhou family were comically absurd, until I coolly interjected, "Lin Shu, kneel." In the midst of everyone's incredulous gazes, Lin Shu surprisingly dropped his knees. I stepped out from behind the crowd and struck his head with a swift slap.
I instructed you to protect Susu.
"Why did you fail to do so?" Lin Shu, kneeling, scratched his head and, upon seeing me, could not help but grin. "Mother, you have come to Dongdu without informing us." At his words, the already bewildered crowd collectively gasped. This old matriarch is General Lin's mother? How had we never heard General Lin mention this before? Indeed, had it not been rumored that General Lin was an orphan? Ignoring the crowd's murmurs, Lin Shu explained, "I have been on the battlefield and hurried back upon hearing that my little sister was to be wed. I had sent numerous gifts beforehand, declaring her to be my little sister, and I presumed no one would dare to harm her." He said this while casting a cold, warning gaze over the attendees. Yet, only the Zhou family appeared to be genuinely frightened. I spoke coldly, "Then you should see for yourself where your little sister is." Realizing my anger, Lin Shu finally grasped that something was amiss, his face turning pale with alarm. "Yes, where is my little sister? Where is my little sister?" No one dared to respond. After a long pause, Zhou Chenghua finally asked, his face ashen, "General Lin, are you referring to Lin Su?" Lin Shu cast him a cold glance. "If not her, then who?" Just 3 simple words rendered the faces of everyone in the Zhou family, including Zhou Jin, ashen. Lin Shu, however, remained unfazed. He appeared increasingly anxious, unable to rise due to my presence, and began scanning for any sign of Su Su. It was not until he spotted Zhou Jin in her bridal attire and the line of wedding gifts bearing the Lin family name that he realized the grave situation. "You have given my little sister's belongings to another? Zhou family, are you seeking death?" The Zhou family trembled in fear, each member quaking and silent. Although Zhou's father also held an official position, he dared not utter a word in front of Lin Shu, completely stripped of his earlier bravado. Zhou Jin even shrank behind her parents, pretending to be invisible. My patience had worn thin, and I inquired once more, "Tell me, where is Su Su? Or else, it will be you who suffer the consequences." Zhou's father and mother exchanged glances, their lips moving but no sound escaping. Zhou Chenghua, his complexion grim, even exhibited a hint of fear. A foreboding sensation washed over me as I took the knife from Hong Xiu's hand and struck it against the faces of those present, my voice icy. "If you do not speak, your family's downfall is imminent." The group trembled in terror, but silence reigned. Zhou Chenghua finally lowered his head and ground out a few words through clenched teeth. "At Bai Fu Garden." Previously, Lin Su had secretly harmed Jin Air and showed no signs of repentance, which is why we sent her to Bai Fu Garden to learn proper conduct. However, this is our family matter, and Lin Su was at fault first. Surely, even General Lin cannot condemn us. Zhou Chenghua grew bolder with each word, resolutely defending Zhou Jin. "We merely sent her to Bai Fu Garden. While she is my biological sister, Jin Air has been part of our Zhou family for over a decade, dutifully caring for our parents and managing household affairs. Why should we not protect her?" His words rang out with righteous indignation, embodying the role of a devoted brother. Zhou's father and mother straightened, glaring at us as if I were unjustly accusing them. With tear-filled eyes, Zhou Jin, shielded by her family, looked up at me and Lin Shu, softly pleading, Matriarch, General Lin, I implore you to see the truth. Had I known this would occur, I would have quietly endured my sister's mistreatment and humiliation, rather than bring such disgrace upon my father, mother, and brother. Yet, no one was swayed by her words. After all, the mere mention of Bai Fu Garden altered the crowd's perception of the Zhou family.
Bifu Garden?
Has the Zhou family gone mad? To send their own flesh and blood to such a den of vice? Indeed, sending her there is akin to signing her death warrant. Even the most destitute families would never resort to such cruelty. Lin Shu, enraged, lunged at Zhou Qinghua, pinning him down and raining blows upon his face. How dare you send Su Su to such a place? Zhou Qinghua, a spoiled scion, was no match for Lin Shu and soon found himself bloodied, lacking even the strength to cry out. Zhou's father and mother gasped in horror, rushing to shield Zhou Qinghua, shouting, I am a 6th grade official. Do you not fear my complaints to the court? If Lin Su had not been raised to be so arrogant and cruel by you, we would not have treated her this way. She deserves everything she receives. The moment those words left their lips, Hong Xiu kicked Zhou's father in the chest, sending him crashing to the ground, coughing violently. I, filled with rage, retorted with a bitter laugh, You will go to Bai Fu Garden and bring Su Su back. As for you, I intend to make you understand whether it is Su Su who is wicked or if you fools have misjudged your loyalties. In due time, each of you will pay the price. Su Su has been raised under my care for over a decade. I know her character better than anyone else. She would never commit the heinous acts they accuse her of. Moreover, I had told her before she left that should she find her situation intolerable, she was free to return at any time. Even if the Zhou family has not met expectations, she still has us. How could she resort to jealousy and harm others? Such accusations are utterly ludicrous. Lin Shu glared at them with disdain before hastily departing for Bai Fu Garden. I summoned all members of the Zhou family to the hall, employing both threats and incentives to extract the truth from them. Yet, despite all my expectations, I could not have foreseen the outcome. Half an hour later, Lin Shu returned with Su Su, but what he bore was a lifeless body wrapped in white cloth. With reddened eyes, he held the shrouded corpse and uttered, Mother, my little sister has died. I stood frozen, rendered speechless, my mind buzzing and my heart plummeting into despair. The air hung thick with an eerie silence. After what felt like an eternity, someone suddenly scoffed, derisively stating, General Lin, do you not find it shameful to cooperate with Lin Su in such a deceit? You must not realize that we have grown weary of her tricks. We merely sent her to Bai Fu Garden to learn some manners. How could she possibly be dead? I turned towards the voice, discovering it belonged to Zhou Qinghua. Yet he spoke with such conviction, his palm trembling as he fixated on the white cloth enveloping Lin Shu's burden, as if desperate to see what lay within. Zhou's father and mother wore expressions of utter bewilderment, their mouths agape, yet words eluded them. Only Zhou Jin, concealed behind the three, curled her lips into a smirk, a glimmer of unmistakable delight flashing in her eyes. Observing this, I wasted no time in seizing her hair and yanking her forth, delivering 2 resounding slaps across her face. Hearing that Su Su has perished seems to bring you joy, does it not? Do you believe that with these 3 imbeciles guarding you, I am powerless against you? Should I uncover even the slightest connection between this matter and you, I shall flay your skin and strip your tendons to accompany my Su Su to her grave. Zhou Jin, caught off guard by the 2 slaps, instantly reddened around her eyes, crying out to Zhou Qinghua and the others, Brother, Father, Mother, save me. I truly know nothing about this. I am not involved. Yet, such fabrications from her lips had been uttered countless times before, making one question the authenticity of this instance. Zhou's mother was the first to regain her senses. Drawing upon an unknown strength, she snatched Zhou Jin into her embrace, gazing at me with her mouth open. Yet the initial fervor had dissipated. I refuse to believe that Lin Su is dead. Do not think to use this as a pretext to harm Jiner. If she desires the love of her biological parents and her own brother, let her humbly apologize to Jiner. We shall consider this matter resolved, and we will not pursue her further. As she spoke, her gaze frequently darted behind me, towards Lin Shu, as if she were confident that Su Su was concealed in some shadowy corner. Zhou's father and Zhou Qinghua shared her unwavering conviction, sneering, "Indeed. If she can recognize her fault and repent, she remains our family. However, should she persist in her lies and obstinacy, let her not blame us for disowning her." I regarded them with a mocking gaze, remaining silent for a prolonged moment before retorting, "You extend such kindness to an adopted daughter. Have you ever offered the same unconditional faith and protection to your own flesh and blood, Su Su, your biological daughter and sister?" The trio was momentarily taken aback, instinctively attempting to respond, yet apart from Zhou Qinghua, who impulsively uttered an unintelligible syllable, none could articulate a word. The onlookers began to comprehend the situation. The Zhou family, truly as dull-witted as swine, disregarded their long-lost biological daughter while placing unwavering trust in an adopted child, even if they had affection for that adopted daughter. Such favoritism was truly revolting. Indeed, they had even sent their biological daughter to a place like Bai Fu Lu, potentially endangering her life. Oblivious to the sorrow their biological daughter must have felt at that moment, the crowd's words drained the color from the faces of the Zhou family members, leaving them incapable of retort. They suddenly recalled that from the very beginning, they had harbored prejudice and disdain towards Lin Su, their biological daughter returned from outside. Hence, in reflecting upon the current state of affairs, they could not discern whether the fault lay with Lin Su or their own biases. As they gradually loosened their grip on Zhou Jin's arm, her complexion paled, clearly understanding the implications of this release. Watching their confusion, perhaps tinged with a hint of guilt, I could not suppress a cold laugh within. When Su Su returned to the Zhou family, filled with hopeful anticipation, what awaited her was a return to the netherworld. Therefore, regardless of their sentiments now, I was determined to make them pay for Su Su's life. The entire Zhou family, including their servants, was brought forth, trembling in place. I sat at the head of the table, casting a cold glance over the assembled crowd. "I summoned you here to clarify whether Su Su truly sought to harm Zhou Jin at every turn, as they claim. For every truthful word spoken, I shall reward you with 100 taels of gold and a new master. However, should there be a single falsehood, the graveyard shall be your final resting place." These servants, often overlooked, had witnessed the myriad events transpiring within the estate, thus they were not blind to the truth. I, too, yearned to uncover what had transpired with Su Su that led to her untimely demise. Upon hearing my words, the servants exchanged glances, observing the Zhou family, and then me, hesitating to speak. Before I could utter another word, the surrounding guests urged them on. "Fear not, for these two are the great general and his mother. They are unwavering in their judgment. Speak freely, and know that the general and the matriarch shall stand behind you." Zhou Qinghua's fingers curled, and he hoarsely chimed in, "Speak, and as long as it is the truth, it shall not be deemed treachery." Zhou Jin's already pallid countenance drained of all color at this declaration, her last vestige of blood fleeing her face. She trembled imperceptibly, as if she had foreseen her impending fate. The first to step forward was a young maidservant. She glanced at Zhou Jin and, biting her lip, declared, "I may not know much, but the claim that Miss Su Su pushed Miss Zhou Jin into the water is utterly unfounded. I witnessed it clearly. It was Miss Zhou Jin who, upon seeing the eldest son, deliberately fell in." Many nearby echoed their agreement. "Yes, I saw that too." Prior to that, Miss Zhou Jin had provoked Miss Su Su with unkind words, only to feign fragility when the eldest son arrived. As the voices multiplied, Zhou Jin could no longer contain herself, shrieking, "I did not. You are all lying. I will have you all sold to Bai Fu Yuan and silence you." Yet her cries fell on deaf ears. I found her voice grating and simply instructed Hong Xiu to gag her with a cloth and toss her aside. Zhou Jin whimpered, casting desperate glances towards Zhou's father and mother, as well as Zhou Qinghua. However, those who had once shielded her now gazed at her vacantly, entirely indifferent to her plight. Zhou Qinghua murmured, "At that time, I even scolded her, slapped her, and called her a lunatic. But the truth, is it truly like this?" I scoffed at the hint of guilt in his tone, and gestured for Hong Xiu. Understanding my intent, she retrieved a silver note from her bosom and presented it to the maidservant. "My esteemed matriarch does not speak falsehoods. 5 words warrant 500 taels." The maidservant, trembling, accepted the 500 taels, her entire being shaking with astonishment. Witnessing this, the last remnants of hesitation among the others evaporated, and they began to recount Zhou Jin's misdeeds with fervor. Miss Zhou Jin also falsely accused Miss Su Su of tampering with her horse, causing her to break her leg. Yet I clearly saw that it was Miss Zhou Jin who had pricked her own horse's hoof. On the day of the birthday banquet, Miss Zhou Jin had torn her gown into shreds the night before, claiming it was Miss Su Su's doing. She not only stole everything from Miss Su Su, but also labeled her a base-born wretch. We previously held our tongues because the master and mistress, along with the eldest son, favored Miss Zhou Jin so greatly that we feared they would not believe us. As one truth after another emerged, Zhou's father and mother descended into utter despondency. Zhou Qinghua's expression was one of bitter regret, his eyes reddened with tears. The final voice to speak belonged to a maidservant closely attending to Zhou Jin. She knelt on the ground, and under Zhou Jin's despairing gaze, she began. What I wish to reveal is the matter of Miss Su Su administering poison to harm Miss Zhou Jin. Of course, this too was a fabrication orchestrated by Miss Zhou Jin, yet the master, mistress, and eldest son remained deaf to Miss Su Su's explanations, instead succumbing to Miss Zhou Jin's machinations and sending her to Bai Fuyuan. Furthermore, it was Miss Zhou Jin who colluded with the madam of Bai Fuyuan to have the young lady brutally killed. The three members of the Zhou family stared wide-eyed, as though struck by lightning. They looked at Zhou Jin in disbelief, their eyes filled with incredulity. Did you not promise to treat Su Su as your own sister? How could you dare to do such a thing to her? You even sought to kill her. It turns out the true malice lies within you. They lunged at Zhou Jin, raining down punches and kicks, releasing the sorrow and fury that churned within them. As I observed the scene of dogs biting dogs, listening to the cacophony of anguished cries, I felt an exhilarating satisfaction. Just as Zhou Jin lay bloodied and on the brink of death, I noticed the Zhou family members suddenly brighten with recognition, their eyes fixated on a figure approaching from the entrance. Su Su, you truly have not perished. I was momentarily taken aback. Even though I knew Lin Shu could not possibly deceive, I instinctively followed their gaze towards the door. However, one glance was enough to confirm that it was not Su Su. A pang of hidden sorrow surged within my chest, and I closed my eyes, weary, sinking back into my seat. As the woman drew nearer, the three members of the Zhou family quickly realized that the newcomer was not Lin Su. The silence in the air grew even more oppressive than before. The others, in stark contrast, were taken aback and hurriedly knelt. Your Majesty, the Empress. We pay our respects to your Majesty. The Empress entered with measured steps, calmly raising a hand. Today, I am in disguise. There is no need for formalities. Yet at that moment, Zhou Jin, in a frenzy, dashed towards her, as if she had seen a savior, weeping as she cried out, Your Majesty, I am Zhou Jin. I beseech you, save me. Previously, you expressed your admiration for my talents, and upon learning of my impending marriage, you even gifted me a bridal gown. But today, someone has disrupted my wedding, even going so far as to frame me. I implore you, Your Majesty, to take my side and clear my name. Her tears flowed like rain on a pear blossom, evoking sympathy in anyone who beheld her. Yet this time, the three members of the Zhou family were filled with disdain. Even the Empress, who had once shown favor towards her, merely regarded her with a stony expression, coldly retorting, This palace never gifted you a bridal gown. Who told you that it was meant for you? Zhou Jin's expression froze, disbelief washing over her as she stared at the Empress, evidently recalling a similar scene from not long ago. Others too were bewildered, and it took a moment for someone to respond. This scene was strikingly reminiscent of when General Lin had arrived. It appeared that the Zhou family's adopted daughter had once again misinterpreted the situation. No. Only I recognized that the Empress's original surname was Lin, just like this elderly matron and General Lin. A sharp intake of breath. Did that not imply? All gazes fell upon me. Under their scrutiny, the Empress approached me directly, her voice softening. Mother, I have arrived late. The room erupted in a clamor. Who was this elder that even the current Empress and the esteemed General were her children? The Zhou family members stared at me in disbelief, as if they had witnessed a ghost. In the midst of the commotion, I nodded calmly. Have you completed the task I entrusted to you? Lin Yan sighed, an expression of guilt crossing her face. It has been done, and I have also brought the person you requested. Mother, I am sorry. I've been in Dongdu all this time, yet I failed to protect my younger sister. She turned her gaze towards the kneeling Zhou family members, her voice icy. You who caused my sister's demise, you have done well indeed. But I wonder, can you bear the consequences of your actions? Silence descended. No one dared to speak. Zhou Jin's last glimmer of hope extinguished, her entire being collapsed to the ground, her complexion ashen. In contrast, Zhou Chenghua momentarily appeared dazed, murmuring, "No one in this world would dare to lie to the Empress. So you mean to say Lin Su is truly dead?" Before we could respond, he clutched his head, his expression contorted with anguish. But how could this be? How could she die? We merely intended to teach her a lesson. We never sought her death. She is my sister, my only true sister. Both Zhou father and mother wore ashen faces, staring blankly at Lin Shu. More accurately, they were gazing at the lifeless body cradled in Lin Shu's arms. Could it be that we truly caused her death, the death of our own flesh and blood? They seemed unable to accept this reality, suddenly lunging towards Lin Shu. The white cloth covering the body slipped away under their frantic grasp, revealing a corpse marred by scars. Indeed, it bore the unmistakable visage of Su Su. One by one, the members of the Zhou family collapsed to the ground in a faint. "No, this cannot be," they murmured, reaching out to touch the body, their eyes filled with despair and torment. I kicked them away, my voice cold as ice. "You are unworthy to touch Su Su's corpse." While I had not intended for Su Su's body to be exposed to the public eye, I had not anticipated that it would ultimately be revealed. Long before the questioning began, I had dispatched the shadow guards to inform Lin Yan, instructing her to take certain actions. The individuals Lin Yan brought along were already kneeling in front of the hall, their eyes darting nervously. Upon seeing Zhou Jin, bloodied and battered, they were filled with dread. I regarded the Zhou family's disheartened trio with a mocking smile. "This is the former madam of Bifu Garden. To prevent you from claiming that I have slandered your beloved adopted daughter, and to counter any insinuations that we have bribed her to speak, I have summoned her to recount the truth herself." The madam, likely forewarned by Lin Yan, wasted no time divulging the reality. Miss Su Su's death was indeed orchestrated by Miss Zhou Jin. She claimed it was at the behest of the Zhou family heads, who disliked Miss Su Su and sought a pretext to eliminate her. They believed they could escape repercussions by not reporting me and would gain a sum of silver. I had learned that Miss Su Su was not favored in the Zhou household, which made this believable. But I truly never intended to go too far. I merely suspended her from the beam and gave her a few lashes, and when I returned to check on her, I found her lifeless for reasons unknown. The madam wailed, attempting to justify herself. Lin Shu kicked her several meters away, her voice a furious growl. "You greedy wretch! You have killed my sister, and think you will escape unscathed?" My heart ached at the thought of how Su Su must have suffered in those moments. I simply raised a hand, signaling for Hong Xiao to take action. With eyes reddened, Hong Xiao wasted no time, seizing Zhou Jin and delivering several resounding slaps. Zhou Jin, already drained of strength, found herself provoked into crying out once more. "Brother, mother, and father, Jinar knows she was wrong. I beg you, save me just this once. Sister Su Su is already dead. Can I not remain by your side to repay you? Do you truly wish to lose 2 daughters in one go?" I had lived many years, yet I remained astounded by her shamelessness. Zhou Chenghua glared at her in fury, nearly shedding blood from his eyes. "Wretch! You dare to utter such words. You deserve to die immediately, to atone for Su Su." Zhou Jin trembled, a flash of venomous hatred crossing her eyes as she shouted recklessly, "Why is it all my fault? It was you who sent her to Bifu Garden. It was you 3 fools who, trusting me over your own flesh and blood, have only yourselves to blame. Now that someone had come to defend her, they believed I was in the wrong. In truth, it was merely their cowardice towards the powerful." Zhou Qinghua's face flushed crimson with rage. Once close siblings at this moment, they appeared ready to devour one another. Only Zhou mother, like a lost soul, lifted her head to me, asking, "You are the one who raised Su Su, correct? Can you tell me what she was like when she was with you?" As her biological mother, She realized she had never taken the time to understand her daughter during her return. Her voice was heavy with anguish and regret. Yet I felt no pity, only scorn. In my presence, she was never in the wrong. And now, her only error is having you as a biological mother, and being related to this pack of swine and dogs. Zhou mother's body shuddered, seemingly unable to bear the weight of this truth, as she closed her eyes. Then, before anyone could react, she hurled herself against a nearby pillar. Zhou mother was dead. The clamor ceased abruptly.
Zufu, Zukengguai.
And Zhou Jin all stared in astonishment at Zhou Mu, who lay lifeless in a pool of blood, rendered speechless for what felt like an eternity. I rose calmly, my voice devoid of emotion as I uttered, "Do not fret. None of you shall escape today. She is dead, and your survival is far from guaranteed." I paused, allowing a mirthless laugh to escape my lips. Weren't you all just expressing profound remorse over Susu? I trust you would harbor no grievances about surrendering your lives to her in compensation. Lin Yan cast a disdainful glance at the gathered individuals, seamlessly taking up my words. I have already notified the Ministry of Justice. Should the Zhou family have anything further to convey, let it be addressed there. As for the wedding, I chanced upon young Master Lu on my way here. He has returned home, and Miss Zhou need not await the husband she toiled so hard to earn. With that, the two followed closely behind me, departing Zhou Manor without hesitation. The remaining individuals exchanged glances, fully aware that the Zhou family was destined for obliteration in Dongdu. The following day, the surviving members of the Zhou family were imprisoned for the murder of the Empress and the General's sister. 3 days hence, they would face execution in the public square. Meanwhile, my reputation spread throughout Dongdu, with many astonished to learn that Lin Yan, the Empress, and Lin Shu, the General, were siblings. Consequently, a steady stream of visitors sought to pay their respects to me. Yet, I received none, instead preparing to journey southward with Susu's remains. Lin Yan and Lin Shu accompanied me to bid farewell, both imploring me to remain in Dongdu. "Mother, please stay," they urged, their voices tinged with caution. After years of holding positions of power, I had seldom witnessed them in such a state of vulnerability. Regrettably, my affinity for this place was lacking, and I merely waved my hand, allowing Hong Xiao to assist me into the carriage. Their figures lingered behind, gradually fading from view as the carriage moved further away. Regardless, they would forever be my children, even if they were not of my blood. 20 years prior, I had suffered great misfortune and relocated from Dongdu, discovering Lin Yan and Lin Shu, both mere infants, outside the city. I nurtured them with utmost care, never imagining that one would ascend to the throne as empress, while the other would become a general. Even after acquiring significant power, they avenged the calamity of my past. My early life was not particularly blessed, yet their presence made me feel fortunate, as if Providence still smiled upon me. Susu was the third child I found. I had hoped that with me and her 2 elder siblings to protect her, she would lead a life of ease and joy. Little did I know that a moment's negligence would lead to her current fate. The carriage was filled with ice, and within it lay Susu, ensconced in eternal slumber. Despite the sweltering heat of midsummer, her body showed no signs of decay after all this time. Suddenly, my once numb heart jolted with a thought, one that sparked the possibility of Susu's revival. 3 days later, I arrived in the southern city. Yet I did not hasten to conduct her funeral to lay her to rest. Instead, I placed her in her original room, tending to her as if she were merely sleeping. Those below assumed I had lost my sanity, yet none dared to counsel me. Another 3 days passed, and finally, Susu opened her eyes. She smiled at me, calling out, "Mother, I'm awake. I'm sorry if I caused you sorrow."
Outside.
The flowers bloomed vibrantly as I embraced her tightly, overwhelmed with joy at my child's miraculous return to this world. Before Susu departed, I had given her a precious potion that induced a state of suspended animation, regardless of the dangers she faced. Consuming this elixir would ensure she remained in a death-like state for 7 days, during which I would find her and rescue her, just as I had now. My daughter, my child, was once more by my side.
The end.
Thank you for listening. I look forward to sharing the next story with you.